Hello there, very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Lunchtime News. We are coming to you live from the Newsfirst studio here in Colombo. Before we head into the stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines. Arjuna Aloysius arrives at the Presidential Commission for the 5th day. Eastern Provincial Council meeting postponed for a second time due to a lack of quorum. Private bus employees in the Trincomalee district launch token strike. 3,000 suicide cases reported in the country annually. Irma leaves behind flooding and destruction in Florida. Starting off with your lead story this afternoon, owner of Perpetua Treasuries Limited, Arjuna Aloysius, appeared before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on bond transactions for the 5th day today.
Our correspondent said that he arrived at the Presidential Commission along with President's Counsel Gamini Marapana at 9:30 this morning. During the course of the past 4 days, Arjuna Aloysius provided statements to the officers of the Criminal Investigations Department who are assisting the Presidential Commission. The Commission instructed Aloysius to remain at the premises until the Commission permits him to leave.
Leader of the JVP parliamentarian Anura Kumar Dissanayake attended a meeting held in Maharagama last afternoon and commented on the ramifications of recent high-profile guilty verdicts.
We should be able to appreciate and protect the verdict that was given against one of the highest ranking government servants in the country for offering bribes as part of an election campaign. The laws do not take effect just the way it should. When the floods hit the country and the people were killed, and even when the dengue epidemic broke out, Mahinda Rajapaksa never panicked. But when Lalit Weeratunga was arrested, he rushed to Parliament and held discussions with Ranil Wickremesinghe inside his office. I saw Mahinda Rajapaksa once delivering a speech on stage saying that even Ranil was shocked about the verdict. Not only Ranil, even we are in shock. Why do you think that is? Ranil is in shock of the punishment. Not only should he be in shock, he should be scared. If the bond inquiry continues to move forward, Ranil Wickremesinghe should not only be in shock, he should in fact tremble in fear. But it won't happen. Even in this meeting, there is some sort of interference. This form of politics is rotten. It is riddled with deals, agreements and underhanded deals.
More from the political front. State Minister Dilan Pereira attended a public gathering held in Badulla yesterday.
Mahinda Rajapaksa mahathayata me asane oy kaadath wada weda kare mama hatti mutti beduwa. Oh sinhala kiwwe naha ganida.
I worked for Mahinda Rajapaksa in the electorate more than anyone else. I distributed pots and pans, I distributed saris and almost got hammered. We distributed watches, books, bags, cement, roofing sheets. We did all this because we loved Mahinda. We wanted him to win. But we went to Maithripala Sirisena after the election when Mahinda Rajapaksa told us to go. Some of the people who are with him today went soon after the election. We understand now that Mahinda Rajapaksa cannot contest for the election after the 19th Amendment. Even Chandrika cannot contest once again. We should field Maithripala Sirisena for the next presidential election as well in order to defeat Ranil Wickremesinghe. Even Mahinda Rajapaksa likes to put someone as the Prime Minister and win this.
As mentioned on today's headlines, the Eastern Provincial Council was postponed for a second time today due to a lack of quorum.
Although the vote on the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was scheduled to be held at 9:30 this morning, the chairman of the Eastern Provincial Council postponed the session till 11 a.m. owing to the lack of quorum. When the session was postponed, there were only 3 councillors representing the opposition and 1 councillor representing the government. When the council reconvened at 11, there were 8 councillors representing the opposition and 1 councillor representing the government. The chairman of the Eastern Provincial Council, Chandadasa Galapatti, postponed the session to 1 p.m. as 13 councillors must be present for a complete session.
On to another one of our headline-making stories. All private bus employees of buses operating from Trincomalee launched a token strike this morning. According to our correspondent, the trade union action severely inconvenienced the general public.
The strike has been launched to protest against orders being issued to transfer 8 staff members, including the OIC of the Trincomalee main bus stand, without any prior notice. Those engaged in the strike action denounced the arbitrary actions of the Eastern Province Road Passenger Transport Authority. Accordingly, private employees of buses flying from Trincomalee to Colombo, Batticaloa and Nampara have joined the strike action. When we inquired on the matter from the Director General of the Passenger Transport Authority of the Eastern Province, WMH Uday Kumara, he said that the transfers were made according to standard procedures.
A patient receiving treatment in the 64th ward at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital died after falling off the 4th floor of the hospital this morning.
The incident occurred at around 5 this morning. The deceased was a 57-year-old resident of Yatiyantota who was receiving in-house treatment at the hospital. The victim was hospitalized due to a stomach ache after she arrived at a relative's house in Mehindupura, Anuradhapura. Although the cause of the death has not yet been identified, police suspect that the victim may have committed suicide.
The Ministry of Health says that over 3,000 suicides are reported in the country each year. Speaking to Newsfirst, Director of the Psychology Unit of the Ministry of Health, Specialist Dr. Chitramali De Silva, on the sidelines of the Suicide Prevention Day today, said that a majority of suicide victims are males.
Almost all the suicides are preventable. Every year we have nearly 3,000 people dying of suicides in Sri Lanka. So many or most are preventable. So when you look at the preventable factors, generally the main causes are family problems, relationship issues, failures, and also due to illnesses. So those are the main causes. So if you have some sort of a way to tackle these causes, these deaths would have been prevented.
She also mentioned about the way in which society can contribute to preventing suicides.
Take a minute, save a life. So that means if you can spend a minute. Also the proper environment at home, good parenting, counseling services at the school level, at the community level, and also even at the health institutions level are important.
3 people have been injured in an accident that occurred in Dodamgoda Junction along the Kalutara-Matugama main road. According to police, the driver of a vehicle travelling from Matugama to Kalutara had lost control of his vehicle and veered off the road. The 3 injured have been admitted to the Nagoda hospital. Well, that's a wrap of Lunchtime News. Remember, we are just a click away. To keep abreast with all these stories and much more, you can simply log on to our website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Your latest news update will come your way at 1:55.